Good evening, everyone. It's Friday and I'm here again. Yes, I do apologise if I come across as a little bit low energy today, but I have been stricken down. I've been afflicted. I've come down with what I reckon is triple pneumonia, gangrene of the lung, and quite possibly bovine tuberculosis to boot. I mean, the wife tells me I'm just being a drama queen and I've just got a cold, but I don't believe a word of it. But I'm a man, so I shan't make a fuss about such things. Anyway, cheers, everyone. Beer will cure it, I'm sure. Maybe we need to try it. Does make you feel better, like, doesn't it? And let's have a look and see who's in and who was teacher's pet first through the door. That was Rent to Kill reclaiming his crown, and then we got David James, Silent Hybrid, Terry Day, Paul Trainer, there's Mr. Theme Tunes, Boulder 64, there's Anton, and Tom Clark. We've got Stephen Polk, Amadeus, and John Ross. Ian Clark is in, or he was, and it looks like he's had to nip out again because he's going to be home in time for what we don't call readers' wives, especially when you're emailing me. Oh, excuse me. There's going to be a lot of interruptions of that nature this evening, I can promise you. I haven't even got any whiskey in the house. Bad planning. Then we got Mickey Walnuts, Peter Collins, Johnny Random is in, and so is Vincent Brennan, Peter Nicholson, Stephen Hedger. Who's what you been suffering from, mate? Been suffering from labyrinthitis. It's a new one on me, mate. Looking forward to a couple of beers at least. That way I've got a good reason to be unsteady on my feet. Well, you never need a reason for that, mate, you know. PFY Guitars is in, so is Ben Allmark, and there's Grandpa Joe. Weather is heating up and it's time for a cold one. This is the place to be right now. Join John's Patreon and get more. Twice a month live chat with Tier 2. So, well, thank you for plugging that for me, Joe. Thank you. Much appreciated, mate. Who else we got? We got Mark Kerno, we got Paul Coleman, we've got Dave Lewis and Francis Chambers. There's Chris Otterwell, Chip Young, Johnny D, and Frank Bolam. We got Robert Z, or Robert Z, I'm never sure about that one. Paul Taylor, Peter Williamson, Doc Alders, and there's Peter Williamson with a super chat. Thank you so much, mate. Thank you very much. That is much appreciated. You are a gentleman and a scholar, sir. Thank you. And scroll down just one more, and we've got Paul Trainer. Thank you so much, mate. And there's Austin Barrett in just before that. Sorry, mate, I missed you there. I was distracted by Paul's generous super chat. Thank you to everyone who is throwing money in the tip jar. It is much appreciated. What you're saying there, Dr. Gomez 1. Good evening, Fatacasters. The good people of Redcar are about to be replaced by robots. They'll be stacking shelves in the local Morrisons and eventually presenting live YouTube streams. True. I don't know about robots, mate, but there's plenty of bloody zombies on the high street. You see them all shuffling around, waiting for the pharmacy to open so they can get their methadone. We've got, who else we got? We got session guitar legend Gary Shaw is in, so is Colin Falcon, and so is My Knees Hurt. Jimmy James is in, as is Blue Sofa Songs, Cal Texper, and Peter Hall. There is Cal B and the Rocco Cat, and the Lamb is among us, ladies and gentlemen, the legend that is the Lamb. I keep meaning to try and catch your Saturday night thing, mate, but, you know, I can't really take over the television for a 2-hour live stream when the wife's wanting to watch some awful celebrity catchphrase or Anton Deck tat on the television, but I'll make a point to try and plug in at some point and watch it on the laptop. We've got Robert Forsyth, Malcolm Spillett, Jay Aoyong, Jimmy James. I've said you already, haven't I? Who else have we got? I do apologise. I'm very low energy today. We've got M.W. Cardy, or Card. I'm not sure how that's pronounced, but I've just said it. Victory House. Anyone seen Santana's Masterclass promo? Complete nonsense. I haven't, but I can imagine what it'll be. It'll be him telling you how to channel the pixies or angels or fairies or unicorns or something to find the notes for the solo. That's pretty much par for the course for him, isn't it? Thomas Mulvaney is in, so is Graham Campbell, Dave Snack Stevens, and Malcolm Spillett is there. Francis Chambers has said, "Hi, John, catch you later." Well, I'm sure we will, mate. There's John Channing, and who else? We've got Pablo Hank. We've got Searching for Tone. Man flu is real, he says. I can tell you it is. James Falconer, Acute Lurgy, and anyone else. Mr. Chris is among us, ladies and gentlemen, as is my pal Steve Cassidy Guitar. Don't forget Steve's video straight after this live stream, 6 p.m. UK time. I did watch your live stream on Catch Up this morning, mate, and I know you mentioned what the video was going to be about, but I was consumed by a snot and phlegm-infested coughing fit, and I was also in the middle of a game of tuggy rope with the dog, so I missed the finer points of your live stream, I'm afraid, but I'm sure it'll be fantastic. Oh, I've just noticed we've got a load of super chats that I've somehow missed. Peter Williamson, yes, Paul Trainer, the Lamb. You haven't been mixing that with that Gisborough lot, have you? Here's some dosh from Man-Sized Kleenex. No, not for that. Yeah, well, yes. Okay, at least said the better. Thank you so much, mate. Jimmy James, 10 Canadian dollars for the whiskey fund. Well, there is a little corner shop that's got an off license at the top of the street, and it's within what I call slipper distance. You don't necessarily need to put your shoes on to go there. You can just bumble up in your carpet slippers, looking like a true scumbag, rolling up in your kind of carpet slippers to the off license and getting a half bottle of scotch. Yes, draw your own conclusions. Who else have we got? I think Joey Lowry is in. A little nip of Kentucky bourbon will fix you right up. Cheers from Lexington, Kentucky. I love the fact that I'm sitting here in this little converted back bedroom in Redcar, somewhere that is pretty much the definition of out in the sticks. And I've got people watching me in glamorous sounding places like Kentucky. Yes, gets me all kind of smug and chuffed. Then we got Rexomatic, and I believe that is pretty much everyone. Apologies if I've missed your name off the list. As I say, blame it on the lurgy rather than any intent to do so. Let's take a look at what's coming up on the channel this week. Searching for Tony saying your wife doesn't want to see the lamb's balls. That's all I can do to persuade her to look at mine these days. But anyway, on Sunday we have the Sonicake Pocket Master full review. You'll hear it in a mix. You know the kind of thing I do on a Sunday video where I'm testing out some piece of kit, and we get to hear it in that usual little demo tune thing that I do. Well, that's what's coming up on Sunday. Then on Monday, my favourite type of guitar sound from the 70s. We're doing melodic rock on Monday rather, and there is a particular type of lead guitar playing that was very prevalent in the 70s. If I was to name some of the more iconic bands that use this particular style of playing, then you'd get it straight away. But if I can just tell you, it was so ubiquitous, this style of lead guitar playing, that it even ended up on Carpenter's songs, on ABBA songs, and on Suzi Quatro songs. What could I be talking about? Discuss amongst yourselves. Then on Tuesday, I've probably done this video before, but it's been a while, and when I do these top 5 videos, I always say, currently this is the state of play. It might change, and it probably has done since. I'm sure I've done. I can't believe I haven't done this video before, but I might not have done. Anyway, I'm talking about what my choices would be for the 5 most underrated albums in the pantheon of rock music. So we'll see what those are on Tuesday. Wednesday, we're cracking on with the recording project, and it's going to be all about how I record rhythm guitar parts. We looked last week, or this week just gone, on the day before yesterday, Wednesday, we looked at how to record acoustic guitar parts using impulse responses if you're too lazy to mic up properly like I am. But we're going to be doing basically how I use a little bit of EQ and stuff like that on electric rhythm guitar parts. And then on Thursday, a video that I've been sort of meaning to do for a while, but it's always got pushed into the long grass. Well, I finally got round to doing it. Thursday videos are, as you know, it's the slot when I throw anything in that doesn't fit into the sort of usual categories for the other days. Just going to be reflecting on, 30 odd years of having been a professional guitarist, what it's like to make a living as a guitar player, the ups and the downs, and the things that you need to kind of keep in mind if you are thinking of doing what I did back in 1991, and as we called it then, turning professional. So that is the week on the channel. Let's have a look in the chat and see what I've missed. Let's have a look. Let's have a drink as well. Let's have a drink, how we? Let's have a wee look. Any thoughts on Robin Fawcett? Is that like pajama distance? Yeah, pretty much, mate. Steve Cassidy, get well soon, Mr. Robson. Thanks for watching the stream, mate. A Starcaster unboxing rant tonight. Oh, I do like a ranty video. I shall have to watch that while the current Mrs. Robson is watching Coronation Farm or EastEnders Street or whatever crap she tends to watch. Let's have a look. Simon Rice is saying, tempted by that Sonic cake after seeing Thursday's broadcast. Yeah, I mean, unusually for such a thing, it didn't confuddle me. It didn't confuse me and get me all kind of annoyed to the point where I was considering breakages, which is usually what happens when there's any kind of menu and, screen to squint into or anything like that. It just didn't kind of have that effect on me. Maybe I was feeling exceptionally tolerant that day, and it does make some rather good sounds. And well, you're going to see and hear how those sounds stack up in a mix on Sunday. So there you go. Just want to mention as well, because I haven't mentioned it for a couple of weeks, Red Carmageddon. Time is ticking by. September the 19th, we're all meeting up in Redcar. Well, there's many people who are going to turn up. A meeting up in Redcar to have an evening of conversation, ale and curry. We shall be meeting up in a pub called the Gypsy Rover on Station Road in Redcar. So, kind of put that one into your sat-nav or wherever you kind of put such things. It's dead easy to find. Station Road is one of the main roads through Redcar, and there's a pub on there called the Gypsy Rover, and that's where we're going to be meeting up. And then after a few relaxing libations and beverages, we shall be heading a couple of 100 yards down towards the seafront to get some nourishment from Bengal Spice Curry House, and I can highly recommend it. So if if you're thinking of coming and you haven't already let me know, then just drop me a line, jrguitartuition@gmail.com. I'll be mithering you about this closer to the date so that I can firm up like the restaurant booking and everything, and like, you know, how many to book a table for, and so on and so forth. And plenty of bed and breakfasts and Airbnbs in this area because you're going to need somewhere to crash. And as a token of my appreciation, I'll probably be either settling the restaurant bill or chucking a big wad of money behind the bar so that everybody's getting like, you know, a decent round on me in some way, shape or form. So September the 19th, stick the date in your diary. I do know that Mr. Rexomatic is going to be heading over here, and I do hear a whisper, a rumour. You know, I don't know how true it is that a certain Mr. Toonen from the Netherlands it might be planning to make an appearance. Johnny D saying "mither" is a great word. Yes, that's how I routinely refer to my emails, as my e-mithers. Blue Sofa Songs is saying, please check out my latest song. Basically, 2 minutes 47 of noise. You're not exactly selling it, mate. You know, but just yeah, as I say, if you just go and check out Blue Sofa Songs channel, and you know, show the guy a bit of support. Leave him a like, leave him a comment. Jay Ao Young saying Steve Cassidy rant and unboxing, can't wait. Yes, I do like a good ranty video. There's a great channel. I don't know if any of you chaps are familiar with him, but I'm going to be doing another one of my 5 favourite YouTubers channels again at some point, because you discover new ones all the time, don't you? Well, there's this guy called Classic Album Review, and he's a very softly spoken bloke, but he manages to kind of quite often have a very funny rant in his softly spoken manner. He's got very kind of expressive hands. He's always doing that in his, well, not necessarily exactly that, but you know, he's there's a whiff of the Magnus Pike about him. Anyway, that ages me, doesn't it? Magnus Pike. TV scientist in the 70s and 80s, if you can't remember him or you weren't there at the time. Yes, very animated. Pablo Hank is saying classic album review is brilliant. Yes, well, I'm glad I'm not the only one to discover him. Lefty Pick is in. Hi all, electricity is back. Comms too. What day is it today? Oh yes, because there was that sort of blackout down in the Iberian Peninsula, wasn't there? And yes, have they got to the bottom of what caused that yet? Is anybody admitting what caused it? I'm getting dangerously into the realm of politics there. I'm not going to talk about that. Mark Fay is saying, Dr. Magnus Pike, forgot about him. Brilliant chap to watch. Rexomatic is saying, maybe we can visit one of the guitar shops near Redcar on Saturday after the Friday meetup. There is an excellent guitar shop just down the coast from us in a town called Saltburn by the Sea. It is the archetypal, picturesque, Victorian, English seaside spa town, and you know, like really sort of quaint and lovely to go to. And the great thing is, it's only 10 minutes on the train, and there's a train every like half hour or so that costs you like pennies to get there. So you know, and there's some good pubs in Saltburn as well. And you can go and check out Stephen James guitars. Stephen James, if anyone remembers a band called the Dogs Demure, anyone remember them? He was the bass player, and he now owns a guitar shop in Saltburn, and it's a great place to go and buy your gear. Jeff Rock is saying, yep. Yeah, Mark Fee, Stephen James Guitar Shop in Middlesbrough is a good shop. Yeah, it's not in Middlesbrough anymore, mate. It's in Saltburn. I think he moved to Saltburn because it was like right on a main road in Middlesbrough, and there was just literally nowhere to park. You know, you had to go and put it in a multi-story and then kind of walk a few hundred yards or maybe more to go to the shop. Graham Campbell is saying, my mum lives in the south of Spain. Hers was only off for a few hours. She was more annoyed as she was about to make a cup of tea and watch the golf. Okay, fair enough. Yeah, it's let's have probably a guy with a spade digging through a cable. Yeah, Redcar Council here have found yet more money in the let's dig pointless holes in the road budget. They've got the road dug up outside here for gas pipes at the moment. About a month ago, it was dug up for water pipes. And then in about a month's time, after the gas people have filled the holes in, the phone company will probably come and dig it up again. And they're spending a heck of a lot of money on Redcar High Street digging that up. What they're doing, you see, is they're very cleverly bollarding off the high street and kind of turning it into a building site. And what they're doing is they're turning it from a pedestrianised area into a pedestrianised area. Yeah. And, it's not causing much disruption at all. Anyway, yes, I'm not going to go on to a rant about that. Doc Alders is saying, I have a hankering for an Ovation 12-string. If your mate in Saltburn has one, I may treat myself. He does tend to keep a good level of stock. He's... I took a guitar in there once upon a time that I had a problem with, and I couldn't figure out where the fret buzz was coming from. You ever had that kind of thing where you're chasing a phantom fret buzz, and no matter what you do to the guitar, you can't seem to rid it of it? And he fixed it for me in 5 minutes and didn't even charge me. So, that's the kind of service you like, isn't it? What else have we got? Have I missed anything? Oh, Jimmy James is saying, too many renewables, not enough inertial. Supposed to be inertial. Need to be restarted with spinning generators. Oh, that's the power cut in France. Okay, mate. I don't claim to be an expert. Jeff Rock is saying, Magnus was in a Thomas Dolby video. I remember that, yes. She Blinded Me with Science by Thomas Dolby. Whatever happened to him? He was quite the big star in his days. He's still doing stuff now. Last song I remember from him, gosh, it's got to be 30 years ago, it was, he had a big hit with something called Close But No Cigar. Anyone remember that one? I certainly do. Or am I imagining it? In my fevered state, I really could be. Anyway, I'm going to pour myself another beer, and then I've got a cracking viewer's tale for you this week, by the way. If you have any stories, any anecdotes of your brushes with the great and the good, the famous, the glitterati of the rock world, then send them along to me, okay? Yes, you are allowed to gild the lily a little bit. You are allowed to, kind of burnish the truth a little bit for the purposes of making it a bit funnier. As long as it's got a kernel of truth in there, then, we can, we can polish the story a little bit. Send them along to me. Any stories of that nature. You met a rock star and he was an absolute cast iron gentleman, or you met a rock star and he was the biggest, most arrogant pleb you've ever come across. I don't care, as long as it's got a bit of truth in it and there's some amusement factor as well. Send the stories along to me, jrguitartuition@gmail.com, and they will get read out. I'm thinking about doing does anyone remember the thing on Radio 1, you've got to be of a certain vintage and from the UK to remember this, the Simon Bates thing, where it would be our song, and there'd be the story behind it. I'm thinking maybe kind of setting that part of the show up a little bit like that, if I can be bothered, frankly. Which I can't tell you how busy I've been this week as well, just battling with the dreaded lurgy, and I think I've put in it's probably close to 70, 75 hours this week with everything I've been doing. So things like, coming up with little things for the live stream, like little intros and stuff, they tend to get pushed into the I'll do that tomorrow pile. Cal B is saying, I'm bemused by fans being upset when 70-something rockers play sitting down. Yeah, it's, age takes its toll on all of us, doesn't it? I think you do get a little bit. I remember when David Bowie, however you pronounce it, when he passed away back in, was it 2016? And, we had that real kind of cull, didn't we, that back then, because Lemmy went as well, and, a bunch of them. And it takes you by surprise a little bit, doesn't it? Because you tend to think of these people as being immortal. They're just a part of the landscape, and they're always there, and they're always going to be there. And then suddenly when they're not, or when they start getting old and frail, you start, it does kind of bring it home a little bit that we're all just flesh and blood. Excuse me, anyway. Oh, that's good stuff. By the way, back on the Carlsberg export this week, the very generous donation from Mr. Balder was a case of Heineken, but that didn't make it much past Sunday, if I'm honest with you. Steve Cassidy is saying, didn't Prince and Bowie die within days of each other? Yes, they did. As I say, I think that was 2016, or was it 2017? A few years ago now, but, it did really... it's like you woke up each morning around in that December or whenever it was, or January, winter months, and, you looked at the headlines on your phone and, oh, there's another one gone. So, excuse me. Get back in the groove, Robson. Anyway, yeah, you'd look at the headlines on your phone and you think, oh yes, it's not a good year to be a rock star, it seems. Cal B and the Rocco Cat saying, yeah, it was a drag thinking of Tom Petty leaving us. That was really sudden, wasn't it? Because Glenn Fry, there was another one, because I remember watching that 2-part Eagles thing, the history of the Eagles. A great documentary, if a little one-sided, it has to be said. I don't think Don Felder was given a fair shake in that documentary. I can recommend his book, by the way, Heaven and Hell, his autobiography of his time in the Eagles. But in that Eagles documentary, Glenn Fry looked the picture of health for a man in, shall we call it late middle age, and then, boom, gone, and it was like that one did shock me quite a bit. Malcolm Spillett, I'm going to get a T-shirt with that. I've seen it already, and it's in my basket on Amazon. I'm 2 years, less than 2 years now away from a number that starts with a 6, and I'm going to buy myself that T-shirt to wear on that day. Nelly Yema is saying, look at how energetic Ringo Starr is at over 80 years old. Indeed. What are you saying there, Mark Fee? 70-something rockers. I saw the Stones in 2022. Mick and Ronnie were bouncing about. Fantastic tone from Ronnie's Les Paul, but Keith doesn't leap around too much now. No, well, Keith is... speaking of that Don Felder book, there's an anecdote in there where, at some point in the 70s, the Eagles and the Stones must have been on tour together. And, there's a party going on and in Keith's hotel suite. And, he's out. He's gone. He's stone cold. He's turned blue. He's on the bathroom floor. There's no pulse. He's not breathing. And that's it. Okay, right, he's gone. And then the next night he's up on stage rocking. Do you know what I mean? It's the man has more lives than a cat, and So what's that meme? After a nuclear holocaust, the only things left alive will be cockroaches and Keith Richards. Farjon, yeah, that was a shock when Jeff left us. Again, you look at interviews, not that he did many interviews, but you look at footage of him from not long before he went, and he looked in the picture of health. He looked like, I did quip at the time that when I saw him probably about a year before he passed away, that he's knocking on a little bit now, and look at him, not a grey hair in sight. So anyway, shall we wrap up this talk of this macabre talk of dead rock stars and take a look at some of the pictures that you've sent in this not this week, but some have been sent in this week. I just choose them at random. Basically, it's the viewers guitars section, and we're going to kick off this week with hang on, no, I don't want to do that. I do apologize. It's share screen that I want, isn't it? Yes, that's the one. We're going to kick off this week with this one, which comes from Dave Stevens. This is a PRS Tremonti by the look of it. Bought when wandering around Wigan many years ago when my mum was rushed into hospital. She's fine. Stock pickups replaced with iron gear blues engines, a keeper guitar. One of my students had one of those Tremonti models when they first came out. Pretty much identical to that, only it was in black. And it was a great single cut. I played it briefly and I thought, yeah, this is quite nice. Next up, Derek Stopperton's Marauder copy from the 70s at some point. He sent me a before and after, where it looks like it's had some, well, certainly a different scratch plate. Is that a leather scratch plate? I don't know, or pickguard if you prefer. But yes, the Gibson Marauder, not a model you hear much of nowadays, and certainly not a model that tends to get copied much. But nice looking guitar, it has to be said. Very 70s looking, isn't it? It's got that sort of charming retro look to it, which was, I suppose, considered a modern look at the time. Then we've got some guitars belonging to Frank Chambers. What have we got here? We've got an Orange guitar. Until I saw this pic, I didn't know that Orange made guitars, but kind of got a bit of a Duesenberg vibe going on, hasn't it? And what's this bass in the middle? I believe, yes, this is one of the Sire Marcus Millers. I can tell that by the headstock. I don't know why I bothered zooming in. And then one of those very blingy and elaborate and Liberace-looking Harley Benton PRS copies. I always thought it was a little bit bizarre that if you're going to copy a PRS guitar, that you put like a Steve Vai Ibanez fretboard inlay on it. Because that to me looks like the old the inlays that used to be on the old Steve Vai Gem guitars, doesn't it? But I suppose if that's what it's a little bit flashy looking for me, it has to be said. But nevertheless, it is well executed. It certainly looks it in this picture here. And let's have a look at this one. This is Gordo Canucks Schecter C1 Deluxe. Purposeful, no frills, and born to rock. That just looks like a proper good old-fashioned meat and potatoes guitar that's, that's just meant to do the business. Couple of pickups, selector switch, volume and tone, no tremolo. I bet that thing absolutely sings. Lovely looking thing, it has to be said. Then, the first of a number of images from Jim Howard. What have we got here? We've got 2 Telecaster copies and a Strat copy. Let's see if we can get in on the headstocks and see what's going on. That is very much a Squier, and I'm going to say that is a Squier Classic Vibe 50s. One of the ones, I think, is not one of the ones with a pine body. I think they do them with, maybe they all have pine bodies, the Squire Classic Ride 50s tellies. I don't know, but that's certainly, I've seen it in that finish before, and it's been described as having a pine body. And this rather tasty looking thing is an SX. Yes, ages and ages and ages, probably, well, about 5-6 years ago, I got in touch with a couple of companies to send me guitars for the channel. One of them was Faisley, and they sent me a couple of guitars, and I did videos with them, and they were exactly what you expect for a guitar that retails for about 90 quid. And the other one was SX, and they didn't even bother answering me. So I never contacted them again. But one of my students has an SX Telecaster, and, you know, can't say I've played it extensively, but I have played it, and it feels and sounds like a Telecaster. And what's this one on the end here? Oh, that's one of the Andertons ones, isn't it? That's an East Coast. Keep meaning to kind of put an order in for one of those and check them out. But I like the way that they've gone a little bit original here. You know, it's not saying, it's not trying to pass itself off as a Telecaster. It's more of a homage to said guitar. Excuse me, I need some lubrication here. Oh, dear me. Right, what we got next? More Jim Howard guitars. What have we got here? This looks very much like a Peavey. Peavey Raptor, maybe? Or was it the Predator? I can't remember, but it's that kind of thing. And a very nice looking Ibanez that I can't remember the model name of, because Ibanez are one of these companies that don't give their guitars names. They just give them an alphanumeric code, which is, you know, I don't mind if you name a fax machine. How old am I? You know, a laser printer, you know, by calling it the HB935 plus AQ or something. But I think guitars deserve a name. And this one here is one of those new Watkins guitars. Is it the Watkins Rapier? I'm not sure. But definitely sort of that reissue. Oh, yeah, it says Rapier 33 on there. Yes, nice one, Sherlock. Lovely looking retro guitar. If, you know, I saw Nick Jennison, you know, the Guitar Interactive guy, you know he is, you know, kind of long hair, medallion man, ripped jeans, but he can half rattle a guitar, it has to be said. And he was reviewing one of these, and he got some rather nice tones out of it, it has to be said. Then another one from Jim Howard. Jim Howard, by the way, is the Jim that sent me those two lovely vintage guitars, the V75 and the V6 Strat copy. And this is one of his more recent acquisitions, I believe, the Levinson Scepter Arlington. Lovely looking spec. That's a roasted maple neck on a Telecaster. You just know that's going to get the job done, don't you? You know, proper meat and potatoes guitar. And not to forget that it's not all about guitars in this slot of the show. We do like to occasionally check out your pedal board. And this one comes from Paul Mooney. And what have we got here? Is that some sort of, I'm going to say that looks like a mini wah tuner, Octaver. A fantastic little pedal there, that Behringer Graphic EQ. What have we got here? Oh, the Laney Ironheart pedal board amp. Thomas Blue did really start something off with a Blue guitar amp, one of a craze for pedal board amps. And then a pedal I am probably going to check out at some point, this Marshall 1959 Super Lead. I watched the Guitarist magazine shakedown of all of this range of Marshall pedals recently and was very impressed. Then we've got a new X analog chorus, the Fender Hammertone delay, and the Electro Harmonics Holy Grail, which is, basically we're a reverb pedal there, aren't we? Very versatile and well put together board. My compliments, sir. That looks like it would pretty much cover just about every style. And let's see what we've got next. We've got a guitar from Mr. Theme Tunes. This is his Harley Benton / Enya Travelmate. It's basically the same spec, and I believe comes from the same factory as the Enya guitars. But this one's badged as a Harley Benton. I believe you can't get these anymore with the Harley Benton badge on them because the NU one is about 300 quid, and this, I think, Theme Tunes told me paid 170 for this one. So way to go for a bargain. Then a guitar which is currently for sale. You might be seeing it on the channel. I think you probably will be seeing it on the channel. This one belongs to Mr. Bald, Robert Bald. This is his G&L Comanche, and I think he's going to be sending it up to me to do a review on, and then it'll be going up on eBay. Or if there are any interested parties, maybe we can get a sale ahead of the game. You know, I think he mentioned £400-500 for this. You know, so that's a bargain. I've never reviewed a G&L on the channel, so I'm looking forward to getting my hands on this one and seeing what difference these kind of split pickups make. And the gentleman concerned, Rob, there tells me that this tremolo is one of the best tremolos he's ever used. So it'd be interesting to get my hands on that and check it out. And there you go. That is this week's selection of what we're not calling Readers' Wives. Especially when you're emailing me and I have to open my email when I've got students in the room, and, you know, bunch of emails all with Readers' Wives in the subject line. I do get some funny looks. Let's have a wee look, see what I've missed in the chat. Steve Cassidy saying it's got Schofield vibes. That Ibanez Semi there, yes. Artist, that was probably, or Artcore, yes. Peter Hall is saying guitarist as Colin really like the Andertons telly. Yeah, I am going to have to get me hands on one of those. It's just every time I go shopping for a guitar, I always seem to forget about that, and you know. Yes, a pine body. Classic vibes are typically very good. Well, I've got a classic vibe Strat back there, and it has its limitations, it has to be said. But you know, it's probably one of the more fun Strats I've ever played. Let's have a look. Ian Clark is saying, what is the crossover point between pedals and pedal type amps, or when does a pedal become an amp? Good question. I would say a pedal becomes an amp when you can just plug a speaker into it or a speaker cabinet and you've got an amplified sound. I would say those Marshall pedals, probably I would call them preamps. You know, you can put them into a neutral kind of flat sounding pedal board platform type amp and get that Marshall sound. The only thing that wasn't covered in the review was whether or not they have a speaker compensated or speaker simulated impulse response kind of output on them, which would be cool if they did. It has to be said, like a proper little Marshall tone in a box. One piece of kit that I keep promising myself, excuse me, I'm full of bloody gunk. One little piece of kit that I keep promising I'm going to get myself is the Marshall JMP1 preamp. You know, that thing that's like 30 years old now. You know, and I've heard so many people playing through them. I played through one myself back in about 1994. Band I was in at the time, we went into a studio, and there was just one of these in the basically in the control room and in the rack, and I just plugged into that and got an immense sound. And like prehistoric technology by today's standards, but what a great tone I got from it. And I keep thinking, well, 30-year-old piece of kit, they're bound to have come down in price by now, but they don't. They're really holding their value. You struggle to get one for under 500 quid. And then it's like, yeah, it's made by Marshall and it's 30 years old. What's the reliability going to be like? And I think we know the answer to that one, don't we? but it is something I keep promising I'm going to grab. If I can find one for a ridiculously good price, I'll probably pull the trigger on one. Rexomatic is saying, I've got a 25-plus-year-old G&L Comanche that has been a stable guitar for outdoor gigs. I've also used it on a few recordings over the years. Nice one, mate. The Lamb, what are you saying there, mate? Technically, every pedal is an amplifier, but I think that the definition of being a proper guitar amp is a thing with a power section that drives the speaker. You echo my thoughts precisely, sir. I'm a 640 says, don't email readers' wives to John. Label your emails gentleman's special interest to be on the safe side. Yes. Yes. Jay Aoyong is saying, I believe that Milehouse Paul also liked the East Coast stuff. I wonder what he's going to make of that Gear for Music guitar that I sent him. Because he said he was going to be getting around to doing the video on that one after the London Marathon. So maybe that'll be his Monday video coming up on Monday. I do like those. Have you seen his latest one where he's building that snazzy looking Revstar? What's that one? Earlier today, in between coughing fits. Let's have a look. Oh dear me. Don't take any offence, John, but my dog prefers to throw up during your live stream. Oh dear me. Jeff Rock is saying Nightmare had one of those Marshall preamps, gave it away. Oh, okay. Well, Marshall's reputation for reliability does go before it, doesn't it? It's. I love the Marshall sound. I mean, I've got. Who was it who said that you can't be a proper car enthusiast until you've experienced the joy and the pain of owning an Alfa Romeo? Because when they're working, they are absolutely exquisite, but they just break for fun. They're just kind of always broken. Well, that's how I feel about Marshall amplifiers. I've tried Vox amplifiers. I've tried Fender Tweed style amplifiers. Tried Orange amplifiers. I've tried like all of the usual suspects, and nothing quite gets me there the way Marshall does. It's like any kind of effects unit, any kind of amp modeler, anything at all. It's always like, well, how do I make this sound like a Marshall? And then, right, okay, just tape it all down and forget it. Anyway, shall we take a listen to this week's viewer's tale? Let's have a look at this one. Which is this one? This one comes from Malcolm Spillett. I have a story concerning Doc Cox, who was, many years ago, a presenter on That's Life with Esther Ranson. Yes, we remember That's Life, don't we? British TV show, kind of a cross between if you weren't around at the time, or if you're not from the UK, it was on a Sunday evening, and it was like a mixture of serious consumer rights, kind of people who were wanting, to take on the big corporations because they'd been, kind of mistreated by them, and then it was going on to some item about, a phallic-shaped carrot or something like that had been discovered in the supermarket. Anyway, he was one of the presenters on there. Doc Cox, who many years ago was a presenter on That's Life with Esther Ranson, he was also an authority on the blues, as well as old country music, and ran something called Squit Nights every Thursday evening at the Eel's Foot Inn in a village called Eastbridge in Suffolk. He once had a hit single, which was banned by the BBC under the pseudonym I'm a Biggin', called the Winkers song. Yes, it's not Winkers. Yes, replace the I with an A, and you've got the correct spelling, which you may or may not remember. I encourage you to go and check that out on YouTube. It is, as soon as Malcolm sent me this email, I did go along and check it out, and it made me belly laugh once again. So yes, go and check out Ivor Biggin. Was it Ivor Biggin and the Red Nosed Cowboys or something like that on YouTube? You'll find it. I played there most Thursday nights at the Eels Foot and discovered it once I discovered it. But there was a particular night when I went there not to play but to see Doc's Blues Duo. I got there early as I had planned. I got there early as I had brought an electric guitar to show Doc, who had expressed an interest in it, and he was duly impressed. However, as the hour to start the entertainment approached, the other half of the duo was not there. Doc went into the car park to get some mobile reception. Not easy then in that location. When he came back, he said to me, "Malcolm, you know that guitar you brought? Well, go and get it, you're on." The other half of the duo had got his dates mixed up and was miles away. He then told the audience, "The young man with the electric guitar isn't the one on the posters, but don't worry." He then turned to me and said, "Okay, Malcolm, just as we rehearsed," and I bluffed my way through for the next 2 hours. I have no idea how. The only accidental gig I've ever played. Fantastic tale, mate. Yes. Yes. Happy memories of Doc Cox, aka Ivor Biggin. I'm a 640. I'm a Biggin and the Red Nosed Burglars. That's the one. Thank you so much, mate. Let's have a look, see what else we've got. Austin Barrett is saying, "John, try a Harley Benton 15-watt tube amp. It's great for beginners." It is, but 15 watts in this room is not an option, really. You know, my little Marshall DSL-1 was pushing the volume limits somewhat here. I couldn't play, after a certain hour on the evening because kids in the street going to sleep and need to be up for school in the morning, and that little Marshall 1-watt amp was absolutely thunderous in its volume in this room here. Let's have a look, see what we've got. Mickey Walnut is saying Lancia even. Yes, my ill-informed car comparison earlier. I remember a story that Jeremy Clarkson told about meeting Johnny Morris when he was a kid, and Mr. Morris told him to F off. Yes. Those of you from the UK will know of a certain publication called Viz Comic, and there is a character in Viz Comic called Roger Melly, the man on the telly, and it was inspired by a certain local newsreader in these parts, sadly no longer with us. He on air, he was the most kind of smooth, professional news presenter, just that little bit of a human touch, warm, but, kind of authoritative, your typical kind of old school trusted uncle of a newsreader. He was called Mike Neville, and apparently the editor of Viz magazine was ran into him in a bar in Newcastle one day, and he was the most foul-mouthed, obscenity, expletive kind of guy that you could ever meet. So hence was born the character of Roger Melly, the man on the telly, who was the television presenter who was always spouting profanities. The Lamb is saying they made a cartoon of Roger Melly. It's on YouTube. Peter Cook plays Roger, and it's tremendous in its in all of its foul, outdated glory. I shall have to check that out, mate. I shall have to kind of give that one a watch. Oh, we're talking about That's Life again. I liked Cyril, dude in the chair, cross-eyed vampire vibes. Yes, That's Life. He was the guy that always used to do the amusing clips from the newspapers, wasn't he? Victory House is telling me something that I think I already knew, but my befuddled lurgy state didn't really kind of let it filter through. The brain was running, but the mouth was running ahead of it. 10 watts is twice as loud as 1 watt. 100 watts is only twice as loud as 10 watts. Yes, I knew that. Why did I spout that cobbler's about 15 watts being too loud in here? I stand corrected, mate. Austin Barrett saying it's got a 1 watt button. Okay. I shall have to dig out my miking up, kind of shenanigans. I've still got the mic here that I used to make that little Marshall up with. There it is. Great little mic. This, the Behringer B906. Great little guitar amp mic. This, really cheap as well. And the thing is that I've got the cable is, when I rearranged this room, I kind of routed the cable behind the workbench that's over there, and and I'd have to kind of move the workbench to kind of get the cable out and everything. Oh, I could just buy another mic cable, couldn't I suppose? What's that, Genesis L? Take a tap of your beer, mate. Do while I have no idea what you're saying there, mate. Well above my pay grade. Well above my pay grade, I'm afraid. Let's have a look. Victor House is saying, it wasn't a correction, mate, just adding a factoid. No, I stand corrected, mate. When I talk absolute cobblers, then, feel free to call me out about it, mate. Right. What else have we got? Nelly M is off. Got to get back to work. Cheers, John. Feel better soon, John. Thank you, mate. I shall feel better the longer the evening goes on, I'm sure of it. I can't speak for what I'm going to feel like in the morning, but this is a great thing about having a hangover and a cold. When you wake up with a cold, you feel like, you want to book a one-way ticket to Dignitas anyway, so why not just kind of have the whole hog and grab a hangover as well while you're at it? Let's have a look. The Lamb is reinforcing the point there. The watts don't mean much because speakers vary so much. There can be as much as 12 dB volume difference for the same power input, which is a tremendous difference. I studied electronics. I studied all this kind of stuff. How come all that knowledge just kind of flew out the back of my head? I can't think why, can you? Anyway, chaps, I think we'll wrap it up there for today. Thank you for putting up with my befuddled, lurgy-induced ramblings for the last hour or thereabouts. It's been a blast, and I'll keep on doing it till you're sick of me. But I'm going to go and drink more beer now and eat curry and sweat it all out, and I'll see you on the next one. Thanks for watching, folks, but as ever, time, gentlemen, please.